Attorney Dean, and also, I have one for 564, I couldn't find one for 590, for 109 for you, but you can speak after.
Okay, I probably put the wrong number out, there's 4 bills today, sorry.
Okay, no, I do have one for the next hearing.
Sorry.
If you wish to speak to this one, you can speak after
Okay, thank
Attorney
you.
Dean.
I'll be quick, I promise.
Thank you.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Penny Dean. I'm from Concord, New Hampshire. And I'm an attorney licensed in Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, DC Circuit, all the appropriate, following federal courts and admitted before the United States Supreme Court. I would ask that you ITL HB109 for moral, ethical, and legal reasons. When you're building a house, you start in the basement. We go to a dictionary, and if you look at the dictionary definition of loophole, it's very basic. And I don't think people clearly, to me, understand the definition of loophole. It's an ambiguity or inadequacy in a system. It's used to divert a purpose. There is no loophole. The Gun Control Act wasn't designed to capture private sales. So when people talk about closing the gun show loophole, there isn't a gun show loophole. There's not a private sale to get loophole. If you don't agree with the law, 18 U.S.C., go to Washington and change the law. That's really your remedy. But when we go to HB 109, I look at it and I say, okay, let's look at it from a practical point of view and let's just go through it and see how it's going to mechanically work. Let's just walk through it as if we're doing something. And the biggest problem that I see is tying our little red wagon to federal law, to me, is not smart. Not smart. And some of the language, and here's what I'm going to tell you. I know I have a 3-minute limit. If I were to do a proper legal analysis and explain to you the defects like a proper lawyer would, so you'd have informed consent, it would be about 2 or 3 hours, and I'm not exaggerating. And that's not even for your questions, because there are huge defects in the drafting of this bill. Even if I were for the bill, which I'm not, I'm asking that you ITL it. The bottom line is, it's just poorly done, and it's not going to do everything that you think it's going to do. It's going to do more. And I always joke when the doctors come up here and I say, look, if you guys quit practicing law, I won't go practice medicine. And the bottom line is, the analysis of this bill is very simple. It's based on what's called an ATF, some people call them opinion letters, and it's ATF Procedure 2017-1. And it's record keeping and background check procedure for facilitation of private party firearms transfers. And it was issued on July 28, 2017, and it's the language in this opinion, this guidance directive from the ATF, that is language has been copied into this bill. Here's the problem with that. There's 3 problems. Number 1, you want to tie your little red wagon to federal law? Not good. Second thing, the ATF changes their mind on opinion letters more often than I change my hair color. So for example, street sweepers used to be perfectly legal. All of a sudden the ATF put out an opinion letter, you got so many days to register them or they're contraband. They did the same thing they're doing the same thing with bump stocks. They've done the same thing with a SIG brace. They've done all sorts of things. So you are relying on them not to change this. Okay. Oh my golly, it goes quick. Just give me a second to wrap up, I apologize. The bottom line is you're putting the licensees in this state in danger. Huge danger, because you are asking them under state law to do things that if the ATF rescinds that they would be prohibited under federal law from doing. And the ATF is their licensor, which means they can go in and jerk their license, charge them criminally, and there's all sorts of other problems. And I know you wanted me to be brief, but the gist of it is, and it goes back to what loophole. There is no loophole. You know, the original definition of loophole was a slot for archers to shoot out in defense. And so I respectfully say to you that if you look at the drafting of this bill, it's poorly done, the definitions are poor, they're not logical, and to expect people to do a transfer every time, there's 2 other things. There's nothing in here that mandates gun dealers to do this transfer. And secondly, and I'm in no way picking on the gun dealers in the state that I love, but if they want to, they can say, well, if we do it, we charge $500 transfer. Where else are you going to go? If they all get together and say it's $500 a shot, you're out of luck. And so I'll accede to your 3-minute limit, but I really think there are huge mechanical problems with this bill.
Thank you very much.
Croc TV.